Welcome to Love and Hips TV.
Yes.
We are back. All of us are back. All the love and all the hips
Yes,
are back.
Together.
The family is back.
Yes, we are. Glad to have y'all back. Glad to have y'all back on the show.
We miss y'all too.
We missed you guys.
So I must ask, how was everyone's week and weekend?
Man, it was good. We done had a couple weekends.
Yeah.
I know.
A lot
My
of
weekend
things
always
going on.
busy. Always. I need to
Oh,
sit down somewhere, really.
that's the life of a model, baby.
Yeah.
No,
And
it's
business owner, yes.
It is. That's just the way
What
it
about
works.
y'all?
I've been catching up with a lot of things going on here in Atlanta. You know, it's always something. So, you know, I've been catching these street fests and stuff. It's fall.
Oh,
Fall done
nice.
kicked in. We
Yeah.
finally got us some fall weather yesterday. So,
Yeah.
been out catching a good breeze and stuff. And just went to the Sweet Auburn Fest last week and went to the Duluth Fall Festival. So, and then last night went to the International Festival.
Okay.
The International Atlanta Night Market. It was pretty amazing. Yeah, I had a really good time. So,
All right.
I want to go next time.
Yeah, why didn't you invite us?
why you invite us?
you know, I kind of got to invite myself at the last minute. So, you know, for a friend, got invited by a friend, and you know,
okay.
decided to follow suit.
okay.
How that goes?
Oh,
A friend.
How was your week,
And
Dakota?
we gonna leave it at that.
Well, my weekend was good. You know, I just rested because I had been traveling. I went to Memphis the other time,
Okay.
the other past weekend. So rest has finally found me, guys. So
Yeah.
trying to
Sometimes we need
recruit,
that.
rejuvenate because look, guys, next week. The weekend after, we got a surprise. We're going out of town, loving hips, so
Yeah,
I
so
got
we gonna
to
talk
get prepared
about
for that.
Yeah, we're gonna tell y'all all
Definitely gotta talk
about,
about that.
all of that. And we want to also just go ahead and shout out to Jazztopia because
Yes.
we got our new
Thank you.
little theme song.
We
It's,
love it.
Yeah.
Jazztopia. She's an artist R&B artist out of Detroit. So shout out, thank
Shout
you.
out, Jazzy.
Name of the song is Like I Love You.
Oh,
It was
all
nice.
right.
It
And
was
I
real nice.
can feel you on that.
We
honey,
like
I
that,
love
Jazzy.
you.
Yes, thank you, Jasmine.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anna, what about your weekend?
I know y'all forgot about me, huh? Did y'all get used to not, seeing me here in the seat?
No.
Touring Pimp?
No, we miss you.
None of that.
We miss the Russian doll.
It was good.
Yeah.
My week was really busy. I got to spend a lot of time with my special friend, and his name is Money Man. So I wanted to.
love
I know Money Man is amazing. He is awesome. He is so
I like
awesome.
him already. I like
Yes,
him.
and the name Money Man, he's all about the money. He's great. So shout out to Money Man.
Hey, Money Man.
His
Hey.
birthday is coming up this
Oh,
week on the
Happy
11th.
birthday.
Happy birthday, Money Man.
Yes.
Yes.
We want to know where your brothers are. Bring them to
Right.
Oh, his brother
wanna
is very
know.
nice too. His brother is a very nice guy. So they're they're very nice
He's
guys.
coming on the show.
Well, he probably will be very excited to come on the show, guys.
He gotta bring that money
So he
gun.
is watching right now. So thank
Money
you for
man.
watching. We appreciate it. And happy birthday to you. So
Happy
I enjoyed my
birthday.
week with you. So
That's nice.
honey.
it was good.
Well, we always got to give our shout out to ABS Fine Arts and Apparel for our clothing.
That's right.
Our
That's
wardrobe.
right. I'm loving it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Miss Pam.
So y'all know, y'all been seeing us. We dress to the nines every show.
That's
so
right.
thanks to Miss Pam at ABS Fine Arts and Apparel for keeping us looking fresh.
Right.
Yes, thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Fresh and
Right.
so clean.
She dress
And
you up
so-
and dress you down.
Right. And I love it how she just fits all of our personalities. I can't say
Yes.
that enough.
She done figured us out.
Yeah.
She definitely figured out the love and the hips.
right.
did.
Right.
So, we appreciate you, Miss Pam.
So,
Thank
it's
you so
special
much.
when the stylist will take time to, figure out what your likes are and what your needs are. And she does that for all her clients. So y'all check her out.
Okay.
All right.
On Facebook. Let's go.
So,
ABS.
all right. So we will be back with you all and get this show started. We are going to have author Tamara Charles in the building. This is Domestic
Yes.
Violence
Amazing
Awareness.
woman. That's right.
Domestic Violence Awareness Month and Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes.
And she's going to be talking to us about her her book.
Yep.
And we are looking forward to speaking with her shortly. So we'll be back after this commercial break.
All right.
Stay tuned.
Coming up next on Love and Hips.
We met by the person that edits our books. And from the first time we met, we've been friends ever since.
Well, I met Tamara as a fellow author. Actually met her on Instagram.
I met Tamara last year when we talked about Marcy's Law, and I heard her story, just of her abuse and just how she came through that.
Best-selling author Tamara Charles delivers her new memoir, Unbroken, Still I Smile. Enter the world of Tamara Charles and see her journey from victim to victor in stunning, dramatic recreations.
And I'm an advocate for domestic violence survivors, and I'm unbroken.
I am unbroken.
I am a domestic violence survivor, and I am unbroken.
Author of Third Time My Charm. I am now unbroken.
My name is Tamara Charles. I am unbroken. Still I smile.
All right.
All right. Very good.
Great commercial. Great.
So
Well,
excited.
Welcome, Miss Tamara Charles to the show.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for
Thank
coming
you.
on board.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, you guys.
Yes.
We are so glad to have you and have you tell your story about the things that you experienced and how you came through it. You're a survivor. And we are really looking forward to, getting into it and talking about your book. I have it here. It's Unbroken, Still I Smile.
Yes.
And she's going to tell y'all how y'all can get the book and everything. But it is amazing. It's a good read, and it tells all about her story. So we're just going to go ahead and start in. You ready? You ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
So, you experienced a lot from a young age. So, born in Haiti, correct?
Correct.
All right. Yeah, all right.
Ça passe.
Y'all see her. She's beautiful.
She is, and she came prepared for Love and Hips.
Yeah,
she
she
got
did.
the lip honey. Yeah.
I am loving this dress she has. It is
Right.
everything.
She told us that she had to break it for the Love and Hips.
She
I
bring
sure
it
did.
up. She bring all the love
She
today.
did that.
So that's what we talked about, through all of everything that she's been through, she's got that smile and she's got that beauty. So she brought it here with us today. And so, like I was saying, you were exposed to something at a very young age. So I'm going to let you tell about it. From my understanding, it happened at an early age of like 6 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's what started a cycle in your life, basically, right?
Yes.
So go ahead and tell us a little bit about what you want us to know, without giving it all the tea, but tell us something.
First of all, my name is Tamara Charles. I am a best-selling author of a book called Unbroken, Still I Smile. It made the bestsellers list on Amazon within 24 hours, so I was blessed
Amen.
to have written my book and for God to bless me, because it was my time to share my story, to tell my truth, and to share my my story with the world, especially women who, like myself, who have gone through what I had went through but don't have the voice to be able to speak out because they're still living in silence. So I can relate and just be the voice for the voiceless. But first of all, I had experienced sexual assault at the age of 6 years old back in my country. And my parents had came to America before me and my brothers and sisters did. And during that 1 year, they were absent. A friend of the family was sexual assaulting me for the whole year that my parents wasn't around.
Wow.
And I remember coming to America. I was 7 years old. I never told my family anything what had happened, but I've lived with it within myself. Like, I didn't say anything. I've lived with this silence for about 30. It took me 39 years to write my book and to be able to share my story to the world, and that's how my family had found out. But during my teen years, I was that rebellious child because I felt that my parents wasn't there to protect me, especially my dad. Because I remember being that 6-year little girl, he used to just be the one to take me to school. Like, even like, he would never let nobody sit next to me when I would be, you know, in a taxi, because he didn't want nobody to touch his little girl. So he was like my protector. So when he was gone and this was happening to me, and I came to America, and he was trying to be that protective father, I was like, inside of me, I was like, you wasn't there, so why you want to protect me now? But they had no idea what was I going through, because all I can remember being that little girl was, you know, the abuser telling me, don't say nothing, it's our little secret. So I lived with that.
Mentally, yeah.
It was like a mental challenge for me. And I've lived with it for 39 years. And even till this day, I can still remember him saying that to me, you know. But it was just like a cycle.
So teenagers are typically rebellious anyway at some point.
Yeah.
But with you having all the built up frustration from the things that happened to you, and you're not knowing how to voice that, I can imagine you were probably you were probably hard to deal with.
I was very hard to deal with.
Yeah.
I was a lost child. I didn't even know myself. I didn't even know who I was growing up. I was always like, I felt like I was living in a darkness. Like I was completely lost. Like I didn't love myself growing up. And I was so isolated. I didn't want to have no, you know, friends, or like I was always like silent, like didn't speak too much, but had so much anger built inside me. And nobody knew why I had so much anger built inside me till I wrote my book, and they read my book, and they put 2 and 2 together, and they understood why I acted the way that I did. And it's to the point I acted out and had the state take me out of my parents' house because I didn't want to live with my parents anymore. I experienced foster home. I was a runaway child. I looked for love in all the wrong place, in all the wrong men.
Yes.
Because I felt that they were my protectors.
Right.
And there was times like if a man then hit me, I didn't feel like he loved me. I felt like he had to hit me and come and hug me and kiss me and say, you know, I'm sorry for, and that was my type of love, you know. So
wow.
So this. Did you have something you wanted to say?
So, what signs did your abuser exhibit in the beginning that you now see?
They were controlling, not wanting me to have friends, not wanting me to be around my friends or family, or what I can wear, what I cannot wear. Just all the signs that you can think of. It was more like a mind controlling thing, because they knew I was vulnerable, so they took that to their advantage. So it was just like,
It was hard.
It's hard.
It's okay.
yeah.
We're all sisters here.
Take your time.
They knew I was. They knew I was lost. I didn't know I was lost, and
So
they just.
I know that you experienced this with different men. You went through this,
three different men.
times. So do you feel it? Did you feel like you were drawn to a certain
I was
type
drawn.
of man?
Oh, very much so. Yeah, I was drawn. I was drawn to those type of men. Because those were the type of men that showed me love, that showed me affection, that I thought that was love, you know.
Their personalities were different from what I remember.
The personalities were different, but they all had some similarities, you know.
Right.
Because all 3 of them were experiencing some type of demons, insecurities in them. So
within themselves.
I felt like I was, you know, all 3 of them, I felt like, okay, I was more like a mother to them than a girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
Because I felt like they was going through some stuff within that they had experienced, you know, throughout their childhood.
Yes.
And I can relate because I was going through what I was going through.
Right.
It was just like, you know, it was I felt like, you know, we would match for each other, but it wasn't. Because
Yeah, they had that mental hold on you.
Yeah. But you did have your beautiful children out of these
I
relationships.
yes.
How many kids do you have?
I have 4. My twins, they're 22. They'll be 23. They graduate from college, and so I'm proud. They didn't follow my footsteps and went through what I went through. And my daughter, she's 16. Her homecoming was last night, and just by seeing her beautiful face, I was like, "Oh my God!"
Homecoming.
Thank you. And I have a son. He'll be 14 next week on the 14th.
Wow.
And, so I have 2 girls, 2 boys. You know, and I'm just blessed to have them in my life, and it haven't been easy, but I make it look easy, but it's not easy. But I just have, it takes a village to raise, you know, these children, and I'm blessed with my family, my parents. Even though I had put them through hell, they never gave up on me. They never gave up on me, and I'm so blessed because
That's what
That's
parents
what
do.
you do.
yeah.
Never
That's
parents.
right.
That is.
Like-
That's right.
And us single moms, honey, we have,
We never
we
give up.
never give up.
Yeah.
We got to make it happen.
Yeah.
We figure out a way to make it happen all the time. And
yeah.
By any means necessary.
Yes.
So, you know, what do you say to your daughters about the abuse and some of the things that you went through?
Like my daughter, my oldest one, she lives on campus, so she's doing her thing in Boston. She's in grad school now at Boston College. But my daughter, who's 16, so when I go to like these women empowerment brunches and stuff, I take her with me.
That's
All
right.
Okay,
That's
good.
right.
I take her to the teen domestic, violence group, whatever function is going on. I drag her. She don't like me dragging her, but I drag her because I want her
Yes.
to know that what I have gone through, I never want her to experience what I have gone through.
So you're like overprotective
And-
of her.
Yeah.
She may not like it. She's like, why do I always have to go to them grown people stuff? I'm like, it's not grown people stuff. Yes, it is. It's boring. But when she goes and she's listening and she's hearing, she like, they'll ask her questions and she'll answer it. And it's like she start loosening up. And she's like, oh my God, I'm glad that I
For
came.
her to experience,
Yeah.
realize it at
So-
this
That's
point.
right.
But
Yeah.
it's great for her to experience that.
Yeah.
To learn those signs at an early age.
And
So
even
I-
your sons.
Yeah, even my
Absolutely.
son, I take him too. Sometimes I take him. But my daughter, I want my daughters to know that love is not supposed to hurt.
That's right.
Any man that put their hands on you don't love you. That's not
right.
that's not love. So
Tamara.
I didn't have that. Even though my parents, they're old fashioned, they're from Haiti. Haitian parents. I'm not gonna say all of them, but majority of them, they don't show love. They don't show affection, like, oh, I love you, give me a hug. They don't, good night before, let me, kiss you on the cheek. But they show you other ways.
Right.
So I try to teach my kids, like, before they go to bed, I love you, or before they leave to go out, to school, I love you, or they'll come in my room and they'll be like, okay, mommy, I'm leaving. I'm like, okay, I love you,
Right.
So I want my daughters to feel that you don't need a man to know, you don't need a man to tell you that they love you, that knowing that I love you too,
Yes.
But
That is so true.
it's
To love and learn to love,
Love
yourself.
yourself.
love yourself first.
So
Yeah.
I want to get
Yeah.
on that topic, Tamara. You speak a lot about learning to love yourself. So how can you help women that were once in your shoes with the experiences that you had to take that step of loving yourself?
I tell women all the time, look at yourself in the mirror, repeat and just say, I love me. Because I remember once I didn't love myself, but when I got out that situation, and when I was able to get out that situation, it took me years, it didn't happen overnight. But when I was able to let go of that toxic relationship, that lifestyle, I looked at myself in the mirror and I used to say to myself all the time, I love you, I love me, in the mirror, to reassure myself that I'm beautiful. I don't need a man to tell me that I'm beautiful. I look at myself in the mirror, like I look at my kids and I'm like, and I see me in them, their looks in me, and I'm like, oh my God, my kids are, they look like their mama, so.
Yeah.
I tell women, if you have children, just know that when you think your children are not watching, they're not looking, they're not hearing you in the house, get in your
That's right.
getting beat up by a man, they're watching, they're listening, and at the same time, that is affecting them in school. Because I remember my son, and I will never forget that, he used to hear me getting, abused in the home. And I remember at the time he was 6 years old. I will never forget this day when he told me, I want to kill myself.
Oh, wow.
And as a mother,
That's the
I
hardest
remember
thing.
for months I didn't sleep. I remember once he told me that, I remember taking him. I said, let's go take a walk. I took him to this pond back in Boston, in my city. I took him to the pond. I was like, what's going on? Why you feel like that? Immediately, I got him into to see a neurologist, to see a therapist, because I was scared. I was
that's
scared.
scary, yeah.
I didn't want him to take his life, but at the same time, I had to come to realize that it's because he was seeing his mom get hurt, being hurt,
Have you
being
done
abused.
counseling?
I have done counseling, yeah. I've done counseling with all my children, actually. I've done counseling. Even till this day, two of my children see, counselors, because even though it's been 6 years that I have not been in an abusive relationship, but I don't want it just to stop because it's been 6 years. I want to continue giving them that help, that resources that they're able to, to have.
Do you have counseling for the women that's in your nonprofit?
I do, actually. I have a therapist that's on my team.
Okay.
So a lot of women, when they reach out to me, like, I never sleep. There's days like I'll have women inbox me, or I'll get an email there, or somebody will refer somebody to me, and they will just talk to me and tell me their story, and a lot of times, like, they're scared to get out that relationship because that's their support system, meaning the financial part. And I tell women, I know it's hard,
Money ain't everything.
but money's not everything.
Right.
Look at your children. I'm like, is this relationship that, is it worth
it, yeah.
Right.
being in that relationship and seeing your
children
kids
hurt, yeah.
suffering?
Why do you think that they're so compelled of staying besides being the breadwinner and they're being scared? What else
It's
do you think
financial,
that?
because a lot of time women feel like, because if they're in, especially if they don't have a job, they're not working, it's the man working.
They feel trapped.
They feel trapped.
trapped,
Where are they
yeah.
gonna go? Shelter.
What am I gonna do? I gotta start over.
They're gonna go
I got
to a
kids,
shelter, and a lot of time they don't want to go to a shelter because and plus they're so used to being in that comfort zone. They're so used to him paying for the bill, and a lot of time these men, they use that to their
Exactly.
advantage.
do.
They throw that in our faces. They know, that
Exactly.
we can't move on. They think that we can't move on because of them, because they're the one that's supplying, paying the rent and stuff.
Exactly.
But I tell them, I said, God will always make a way. Trust me.
That's right.
God will always make a way.
Amen.
I'm glad, like, I've never had to gone through, for me, it wasn't financial. For me, it was just like, I didn't want to start over because I had children.
Yeah.
I didn't want to
Yeah.
bounce from men to men.
Yeah.
So I stayed thinking it's gonna work out, it's gonna
Right,
get better. But I knew, even though I knew it wasn't gonna get better, but I still stayed. But it was very unhealthy for me because I ended up being sick, getting diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Wow. Yeah.
I used to get my head banged on a hardwood floor in my living room,
Wow.
in my bedroom.
Yes.
I mean, I had my abuser coming home at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, dead drunk, and he would just want to get in the bed when I have sex, and I'm like, all you can smell was the liquor. I'm like, I don't want to, have
Yeah.
sex. So he'll throw me off the bed, Then I'll get up and push him because I'm like, I'm not gonna let you just throw me off the bed, like,
Yeah.
Then he would then that's how the fight would start. Then he would
Yeah.
start banging my head on the floor, start breaking stuff. Then in the morning, when he would wake up from being sober, he won't even remember what he did the night before.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's how it happened.
He
So what
would-
was the point? Like, what was like the transitioning point? Like, where
the breaking point
for you?
Oh, I'm gonna
And
tell
how
you
did you get
guys.
away from that?
Yeah.
I just want to know
Right.
how the
Like
escape
enough
was.
is enough.
The breaking point for me, and I love telling that story of my breaking point, is when I woke up on August 31st, 2013. I woke up completely blind out of my right eye.
Wow.
I went I was blind for 4 months straight.
Wow.
And I remember waking up from my bed, and at the time, my abuser was laying right on the bed with me, and I remember screaming, and the first thing I called was my daughter, was like, Jasmine, and she came into my room, and he was still sleeping, and I'm like, okay, he's hearing me screaming, and I'm like, he's still sleeping, but I said, that was beside the point. So I told my daughter, bring me outside, and I'm on the front porch, and I'm still not able to see on my right. It's still pitch black. So she called 911, and the ambulance came and got me, brought me to the hospital, and immediately the doctor in ER did some eye testing for me with the flashlight. They didn't do too much because they knew immediately it wasn't nothing that this hospital can do, so they shipped me to the bigger hospital in Boston. And from there, they asked me, anybody in your family has multiple sclerosis? I'm like, no. And I'm calling my mom and my parents, and I'm like, who in the family? They're like, nobody. And they did testing. It's in my brain. It's in my brain. It's like lesion that controls your spinal cord.
Wow.
So the long-term symptoms that I can have is being in a wheelchair or in a cane, but I'm not claiming that.
No, you're not.
I am
But
not
God,
claiming that at
you
all.
are a walking
And
testimony,
I
sweetheart.
remember in your book you said that you prayed to God and you said, look, if you give me my
I sat
sight.
back and I was gonna leave,
Back.
and he did just that. I told God, like, look,
There you
I
go.
remember being in the hospital, and I remembered that night, exactly that night, my abuser had came. He brought me a plate of food. I was in the hospital for 10 days.
Wow.
And the only thing that he can do was bring me a plate of food. He came with his friend, brought me a plate of food, and stayed for like 45 minutes. They had spent one night with me, nothing.
Oh, wow.
And I remember when he left that night, the nurses, like, instead of them coming every hour, like, now it's like midnight, 1 o'clock, so they're not gonna come. So I remember putting a pillow over my head. I screamed. I said, God, like, if you give me my eyesight back, I will not go back. And I didn't
You
go
did
back.
back.
I didn't get my eyesight back completely after, but I made that promise to God. Like, once I leave the hospital, there wasn't no turning
You're
back.
done, yeah.
And I did just that.
Right.
And it was hard. I went through a depression. I remember when I got out the hospital.
Of course.
I remember I got out the hospital. I didn't even get out my bed for 3 days. I remember my mother, who lived like 3 streets down, she had to come get me out the bed to go take a shower because I just gave up on myself. My hair wasn't combed.
I just want to quote something that you said, and I absolutely love it. It takes only a single event to convince us that we have no control over our circumstances. And you have a lot of quotes in the book, but this is
Very
one of your
powerful.
own.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was the one that spoke to me the most.
Yeah.
Because something can happen to you to make
So
you feel
that-
like you just absolutely have no control. But you prove that to be wrong.
Yeah.
You have absolute control over
I-
your destiny, and you've proven that.
I
So-
tell
You're a warrior.
I tell women when I speak and when I come across women who are going through domestic violence and who doesn't have the courage, and I tell them, I give them my book. I give them my book, and they read my book, and I'll speak with them for hours. I'll meet with them, and I talk, and when I talk, I speak from the bottom of my heart. I speak with emotions because I know what it's like
Right.
to have gone
Exactly.
through, and
That's right.
they are lifted, they are touched by my story, and I tell them I have multiple sclerosis. It's in my brain. Even after that, I was still able to get my bachelor's degree, get my master's degree, and I did that with everything that I have gone through. And I tell them, if I can do it, you can do it.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right.
That's
No
right.
excuses.
Well,
There is no
Tamara-
excuses for nothing.
Right.
Tamara, I want you to tell everybody how they can find you on social media, and tell them how they can find your nonprofit organization if they need some help to reach out. I know you're willing to help
Yes.
everybody in this situation.
Yeah.
So go ahead and give them that information, and then we'll have to go to a quick break.
You can find me on Facebook as Tamara Charles. On Instagram, I am Tamara Charles _, and my nonprofit, it's Sisters. It's _ Sisters in Charge, and you can reach my organization at 678-789-1952. Again, 678-789-1952. I'm always open to answer calls any given day, any minute, any moment. So if you are going through anything and you want to talk, you need some resources, you don't know how to get out, please contact me. I'm an open door. So let's stop domestic violence, because domestic violence is so real. When I tell you it's so real, and it's just not mentally, it's not physically, it's emotionally. And I'm telling you, I am living proof that it can affect your health. And I'm not gonna give up, because I'm still cute and I'm still wearing my heels. So let me tell you something.
Well,
So-
thank you. We thank you
Thank
so
you.
much
Thank you
for
so much
coming
for
on
sharing
here
that.
and
Thank
being
you.
transparent.
Thank
you.
That's
Yes.
the thing that people need to
right.
see. They need that people to be transparent and
That's
be able to
right.
tell their story,
Right.
because you definitely motivate people to
Yes.
come out of the darkness and
Yes.
come out of their
Absolutely.
current situations. So thank you so much.
Thank you for
And
And
having
y'all
me.
go get the book, Unbroken.
Ladies,
Still
I
Smile.
have one more thing to say. Let's hold each other accountable. If we are going through certain situations such as Mrs. Charles, domestic violence, whatever, let's hold each other accountable
That's
and
right.
check in on each
other.
other.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And I
That's
want
right.
to challenge our viewers out there. If you have a sister, if you have a brother that's going through domestic violence, check in on them.
That's right.
Don't let them walk alone.
That's right.
Yeah.
If they don't want to make that call, you make the
You
call
make it
for
forward.
them. Like
Yeah.
Mrs. Charles said, there's plenty of resources out there,
Yeah.
and we're going to have some on our page as well.
Because we don't want anybody
Okay?
suffering in silence anymore.
That's
And
right.
any
Yes.
type of
That's
abusive
right.
situation,
Absolutely.
any type of depression, any
Right.
type of thing like that, reach out to people and find out what's going on with them.
That's right.
Some,
it's
there's
physical,
usually a story behind the silence.
Yes,
Right.
yes,
It's always.
always,
Testimony.
always.
Thank you
Well,
again,
thank you
beautiful.
so much.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome to
Mrs.
stay on the
Charles.
couch with us and
Yes.
just hang out.
I'm gonna
and,
hang out.
out there. So
Thanks for sharing your story.
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you
It's
very
very
much.
powerful, yeah.
thank you all. This is our actual first segment of Love and Hips Cares, and
That's
there's going to
right.
be a lot of that coming up. We still have breast cancer to talk about on
It's
the
a
next
great start.
segment.
It's a great start.
So thank you for starting that Love and Hips Cares off for us. Okay. So I'm just gonna talk a little bit about what's going on. We got a trip coming up, y'all. We ready to cut up. Y'all
I'm so excited,
y'all
y'all.
get
wait.
to see some of us get to see us outside of this here. This is the
seriousness.
conservative,
Yeah.
serious side, but we gonna bring it in
The hair.
Nashville.
Nashville, here we come.
Nashville, Tennessee. Y'all ain't even really ready for us.
Love and
but
Hips
we
take
gonna bring
over.
it on anyway.
I'm
we
gonna
gonna bring.
We gotta get
the
our cowboy hats.
That's right. We gonna be.
And
We
we got
gonna
a
be
fashion show.
Yes. we
Women
gonna-
to women.
Women to Women Conference. and
Yes,
fashion show,
honey. Yes.
So we are going to go and grace the stage there and talk to some of the ladies and let them know about it. So we'll make an appearance at the Women to Women Conference and Fashion Show. I always got to represent, and these ladies are doing some great things. So we're going to go there,
Can't
and
wait
then
to
we're going
meet
to take on the city, honey.
Yeah. Got my cowboy boots.
Cowboy
These girls are ready, honey. I don't even know if I'm ready for them.
We
but
ready.
We're going to make it happen. So
That's right.
we looking forward to
We're bringing
doing that
Atlanta
trip.
to Nashville.
We're going to bring Atlanta to Nashville.
We
That's
about
right.
to bring hot girl summer to Nashville.
Yeah, girl, we done.
Hot girl falls.
Talk to me.
You still well, you just like the weather. You holding on for dear life.
Oh, no. The summer's over. It's hot girl falls.
These Nashville
right,
men
yeah.
even know how hot Atlanta is.
I'm let the summer go.
She really
I'm bring the
Once
love
they
and
get
hips
to
to
Georgia
open
Beach, they
road.
won't come.
I'm loving. I don't know about y'all, but I'm loving this fall weather, honey.
I do too. I cannot wait.
Yes, we finally had a breakthrough.
I cannot
boot
wait.
weather. It's time to bring the boots.
Look,
Yes.
oh, you know
Yes.
what, Anna?
It's about
Yes.
to
It's
close
that
for me,
cuddling
honey.
season, girl.
I know. I'm ready.
I got my applications.
Oh, okay.
We're not going to talk about your application.
Hey, I do. I'm gonna bring some to Nashville.
You got
for
some
them to fill out.
applications. Oh,
Fill 'em out in
yes.
Nashville?
So,
Yeah, girl.
Yeah, we're just gonna, bring them to the open road and,
tell these folks about some stuff that's going on in the
Oh,
world.
my
'cause there's some
goodness.
crazy stuff going on right now. There's too
Yeah.
much going on.
It's a lot of things going on. Yes. Well, first, the lady at the zoo.
No, Lord.
That's just a little bit of the fun entertainment with the lady at the zoo. In the lion's den. I don't know what she had going
She was
on.
high.
She was high?
She was high.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Something
because
had to be
she,
going
I
on.
mean, she was just doing the
Girl,
most.
she must have been on that good weed.
She
That good.
The good
Okay.
ganja.
She was in that
or
good.
something.
The good.
We said that good
But she
ganja.
was just dancing in front of the lion. I don't know if she was trying to seduce the lion or what she was. I don't know what she was doing,
she
but
wanna die?
she was just like in the lion's den, just standing there and just doing this little dance. We have a video actually for it.
Please show
But
that.
she just was like, and the lion was confused. He was
Yeah, he
like,
was
"What am I
confused.
supposed to
He
do
didn't
with
know what
you?
to
Like,
do.
am I
Was
supposed to
this
attack
like
you
a
or what?"
2020 version of
I don't know what it was.
coming up?
Lion
Yes,
King.
she just
Maybe
was.
that's what she was.
Lion
Maybe
King.
she was trying to get a role on the next Lion King.
Lion King 3.
Yeah, like that's crazy because
Mufasa.
she was just doing this little dance in front of
Oh,
him,
we
and
got
she was
to
just
see
like,
the
"What are we?
We got-
What are we
She
doing
didn't
here?"
make the cut last year. She thought, I'm going to show you my own
The lion was confused.
I got
The
to
lion
see
was
Show it.
confused.
I
I mean,
see this video.
I was just like,
the
"What
lion.
is she doing?" You know?
She's high.
I don't know, because you know they.
That's what my dad used to do, though. Like, he was crazy. You know, looking like a meal kid. Like a meal kid. That's what my dad used to do, though. Like, he was crazy. You know, looking like a meal kid. Like a meal kid.
Clearly,
Girl.
she was geeked.
Why?
Something was going on.
Why?
But that just goes to go show the nature of what's going on with people nowadays. People will do anything for some likes.
No.
Okay.
This is a line.
She was just trying to get a video where the lion like
girl.
attacked her or something, so it was gonna make it go viral. I don't know, but
Girl, and
why
he
are you
was
doing
looking
that?
at her. He was
The
looking
lion was
like-
confused.
He was.
He had
was
more
like-
sense than the lady.
So
He was like,
are you sure you want to do this?
Right.
You know what? He was
What
like,
are we
I'm
doing?
I'm gonna spare you because they just fed me, so
Right.
I'm good.
Literally.
I'm not getting ready to jump over all you.
Don't
And I'm
let me
saying-
go back and get the clan back there,
And then the
okay?
little two-step dance she did. Oh, yeah, she
and then he had like
clearly-
his leg crossed in the back, like I'm gonna just stand right here and watch you. Like, what are you doing?
right.
Yeah,
What are you
I'm
doing?
confused.
Crazy.
That was too much for me.
She was doing too
Oh
much.
my
vape. On the way
goodness.
of vape,
And I'm
she had a vape.
I'm just gonna go out and put it on out there because when I seen it and I seen it was a brown girl, it tripped me out because typically, you know, we don't do stuff like that. I'm
No,
sorry, no
we
offense,
don't.
no offense to the other races, but y'all
Yeah,
just
it's
a little
us
bit
white
more-
people. We just jump right on
Yeah, y'all a
in.
little bit more.
You're not white.
Now,
You're
I'm
Russian.
sorry, but
Right.
y'all a little bit more daredevilish than we are. You know, we
You
just
white
don't
chocolate,
put ourselves
Emma. You
out
white
there.
chocolate.
Oh my God.
Rest in peace to the
White Russian chocolate.
the alligator.
I don't do that.
I'm just gonna go on
I'm still not
the
gonna
stage.
do that.
know
I don't
me.
care what color I am. I'm still not gonna be
Black
standing
girl.
there doing a dance in front of the lion.
She was on a vape, y'all.
That's
How many times I gotta
crazy.
tell y'all? She was
Oh, okay.
vaping. She was
Oh,
vaping.
Oh, she was? Yeah,
She was on
because they
vape.
had
Yeah,
the
she
little
lied.
fake vapes that they
Yeah,
had
she-
on the news.
Look,
And they
okay.
make
She
you
was
go
on
crazy.
something.
To more serious business.
Clearly. I'm sorry.
More serious business. I know you guys have seen in the headlines, CBS, Fox, or so.
Yes.
You have a young man that had got killed last year in Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
There was a police officer that went into his home. She mistakenly thought that it was her home.
Oh my goodness.
Can you run that clip there?
Oh, wow.
I mean, this has really caught the news by storm.
Mm.
And to have the victim's brother love her in regards of what this lady has done, this is remarkable.
Yeah.
Remarkable.
We gotta see that because that's nothing but a blessing.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We definitely have to see that video.
Yeah, that was.
Roll that beautiful
Heartfelt.
bean footage.
Yeah, not the bean. That's our commercial.
Who kids are them? She said, those are baby kids.
Safe, and you want to be safe. There is no smoking you out of this comfortable.
We fall down, but we get up.
So we had our little commercial break between
Yeah.
that. So
I enjoyed it though.
I didn't. I
Especially
was moving
that
over
Bruno
there.
Mars. But just to give you the name of the victim's brother, his name was Brant Jean. The victim himself, his name was Bodem Jean, and then the ex-police officer, her name is Amber Geiger. So we are going to look at the clip, and I just want your honest opinion, viewers, of what you think. A lot of people will say, hey, I don't know if I will be that forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
And I, just like my brother did, but I personally want the best for you. And I wasn't gonna ever say this in front of my family or anyone, but I don't even want you to go to jail. I want the best for you. Because I know that's exactly what both of them would want you to do. And the best would be give your life to Christ. I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please? Please?
Yes.
That was very
That
heartfelt.
that was amazing.
That's amazing.
I commend this brother
I do too.
for forgiving this woman
borrow that.
for accidentally, killing his brother. We have had so many deaths, especially when it is police related. Black men at that. My heart is heavy right now for the family. There's one family that has finally received justice in the black male killing.
And it's just been a lot being said about, people have mixed emotions about him forgiving her so fast. But I remember a saying that I heard a long time ago was, if you forgive somebody, then you relinquish everything.
Right.
They they no longer have the power over you. So you have to, at some point in time, find that inner peace to be able to do that and to forgive, just as Jesus forgave us. That's what basically what he was saying when he was on the news. That he was interviewed and he said, that's basically the way he was raised spiritually, and that's what he felt like he wanted to do at that time. And you got to commend him. He's only 18 years old, and for him to have that kind of
that big faith. Heart.
Yeah.
Now, I am the rebellious one of this one, so I'm going to let you guys know. The officer, for one, how can you mistake your place for someone else's? She did not have a floor mat. If that can tell you right there, okay, this is not my apartment. For two, she stated that there was a lot of noise in the apartment, but you wanted to go in. You could have called the officers for backup and say, hey, I think there's something going on in my home. I'm afraid to walk in by myself.
It was a lot of
three.
things.
It really was.
For three.
It was a lot of red
She
flags.
did not do CPR on this man. Last note, you called 911 dispatch. The first thing that came out of her mouth was she was afraid that she was going to lose her job. Not that she was afraid that this man is going to die, that this man is going to die after she shot him. You were worried about losing your job.
But we do have to know that justice has been served. It may not have been served to the capacity of what people wanted, because she was facing up to 99 years, and she was only given 10. And it was just a whole lot. So we really don't know what happened in that courtroom. How much was said by her for even him to be able to come to her and say he wants to forgive her. For the judge to give her a Bible and give her a hug herself. And even the bailiff. I saw a clip of the bailiff stroking her hair. So it was some things that was said by her. She released something in there to
Right.
make people feel the way, and that's the side that we don't see.
Right.
So, you know,
we just have to have a balance. We
do.
have to
Right.
have the balance
We
of,
do.
okay, the real talk. And then we have to have the balance of, okay,
But
this
listen,
is a
if it was-
Christian-hearted man.
If it was one of us, do you really think they're gonna stroke
Oh,
our
absolutely
hair
not.
and do all that?
Absolutely not. That's
Absolutely
why
not.
I wanted to bring it out on the table.
That's
I
what
mean,
we-
I'm
that's
fine
what we
with.
don't know.
I'm fine with stating that. Okay, yes, he's a Christian man. He's done wonders of forgiving her. But on the other hand, had it would have been me, if I had a son, a black man at that, and he went into a white woman's home or a white man's home, and he mistaken him for his place and shot him. Oh no, he would have gotten life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just be
but,
real.
you know, it's
but
just
we're
the
moving
way it
on.
is. We are moving on.
We're gonna move on from that subject because we can talk all day.
We
talk all day
can,
about that.
and it's an ongoing topic, and it's going to be talked about
That's
for a
right.
long time.
That's right.
But
So
yes, but
we're gonna move on to our hot topic.
We're gonna move on to our hot topic.
Talk about something
we
we
can
can.
kind of digress.
Is it a hot topic?
Order in the cart.
Yeah, we need to digress. It's been a show that's been serious. It's a serious
too
show.
happy for the bell.
I got to.
Let me get scared today.
Simmer down. Simmer
Let's simmer
down.
down.
Hold on,
Okay.
one second.
So the topic is, I know, ladies or gentlemen, get ready to call in. The numbers on the bottom of the screen. What's the number again, ladies?
It's 470-251-4647.
Thank you so much, Anna.
You're welcome, honey.
What question of the day, ladies?
Let's go.
How long should you wait before your guy that you're dating pops or propose the question to you?
Oh.
I'm the wrong one to be asked.
Now,
Me too.
I'm gonna start off.
Don't sit here and wait for the phone to ring.
Yeah. Come on, we need our viewers to go
Because
ahead and
I
call.
feel when you're dating someone, you need at least 2-3 years before you.
2 or 3 years.
I do. I don't think
Girl,
she
bye.
would make us that long.
Did she say 2 or
But
3
no,
years?
not to say not to jump the broom for him to ask.
You know what?
You know,
That's not 2
you
or 3
said
years.
don't get married. I mean, you can be engaged for
You
some
can
time,
be
but
engaged,
how
yeah.
long you got to be with him for 2
Okay,
years?
well at least 365.
You get 1 year.
You're 365.
If you don't know within 1 year that I am
of
the
the
woman
one.
that you want to spend the rest of your life with, good day.
Well, I can't
Oh,
say
my
all of that
goodness.
because, you know,
And
in
that's
my
not my
situations have proved otherwise.
Mine too,
Yes,
so I think I'm the same.
Yes, I have been married before.
No, that's right.
But I have also been in a relationship for 4-5 years too, and
Right.
it did
That's
not
right.
lead to marriage.
Cause look
So
at T.I.
it's
and
like-
Tiny. Look at that situation.
See, I
what you
can't
supposed
do
to
that.
He
do?
done proposed to her, 10-15 years later after they've been dating
Oh,
forever?
was they together that
Tip
long
and Tiny,
before?
yeah.
But they was young though. That was high
proposed
school
on that
love.
early.
Okay, let me tell you the reason why I said that.
Okay.
So I had someone in my family that been dating. She been dating this man for 10 years.
Yeah, I did.
So-
I had one
And
family
he
member
loved
do that
other
too.
women too. Okay.
Okay.
So after she kicked him to the curb, they broke up.
Okay.
He got up with his ex-girlfriend. Don't you know he married that ex-girlfriend within 2 years?
Okay.
Listen, different people bring out different things in you.
You right.
I'm
But
sorry
it-
that they
but
do
he
because I was
wasted-
married as well. I was married too before, so you know I'm kind of with Toy because I'm not really like looking for that. Like if I'm with somebody, I'm just with them for the relationship. I'm not like okay, let's go.
We're gonna get married.
Time's
time
let's go.
is ticking.
Yeah, no.
You
So
know, I shouldn't
Especially
have to
the
give you
older
no
you get.
ultimatum, and if I got to bring it up,
and
that's
that
a problem
it doesn't.
too.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
You know,
It's
if I
just
gotta
on
be
paper.
like,
So
you know,
So what do you want to do?
where my ring at? You know, you gotta be doing all of that. Then it's just too much.
But I
you
agree
know?
with you. You can get engaged within 6 months to a year,
Right.
and then
And then work on the
work on the
relationship.
rest.
And
But
then
does that
work
better
on
your
the marriage.
relationship?
Marriage just
Yeah.
takes time.
does that better your relationship because you got proposed to?
But at least
it
you feel
helps
like
you
you're
At
grow
working
least
and
you
learn
know
something.
that you're
Yeah.
worth it. You're
Yeah.
not. At least you're not, wasting your time.
And I feel like
That's true.
you build it on
You
something.
building.
that-
Yeah.
Let's bring
Yes.
up the topic at least within a year.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
don't if you're just not talking about it and we just
Yeah.
do and still doing the whole dating thing. No.
But what if
you know what is?
I mean, you
where's
can be
it
in a
going?
committed
The question
relationship.
is, am I the investment?
Uh-oh.
That's the real question.
Let's go. Let's get some of our callers to call in. Come
I
on, who's
wish.
on
Call
here?
me now.
Let's
I
go.
wish they
I'm about
would
to start
call
calling
in.
everybody out on
We
this
need-
I
on this
want y'all to
show.
call on
Eunice,
Jerry. Hi.
we're waiting for you
Hi,
to call in,
Jerry.
honey.
Hey, Eunice, Dina, thank you for
Rochelle
always
Thomas,
coming.
Mimi, We see you watching, so let's
Well,
go. Pick up the phone.
I have a Jerry that says she is not waiting 2-3 years.
Come on, Jerry, call in.
So
Call
shout
in.
out to Jerry.
All right.
Thank you for your comment.
Okay.
Thank you,
Nobody
Jerry.
agree
She
with
said if
me.
he doesn't know within a year, you're not the one.
Oh,
Girl, yes.
well,
Thank
dang,
you,
I'm,
Jerry.
I'm
Y'all
past my
teach
limit now.
Dakota.
Dang, past my limit. I just passed my limit, y'all.
Thanks, Jamal, for tuning in.
Yes, thank
Yes.
y'all so much for tuning in.
Yes.
Call in.
Y'all call in. Don't be scared.
Don't be scared. We're not gonna bite you. I mean, it's
Text
only
us your
you
questions
know.
so we can answer them live right,
Right.
now.
Yes.
On how long should you wait
Right.
before a guy proposes?
No, honey.
I agree.
you know.
About a year or so.
I am worth it.
A year? I don't know. A year is too soon because look.
No,
Or
it's
so.
not.
I said or so.
Because listen,
Yeah,
because when you're in these relationships sometimes and you don't know the person, like
Right.
you know you have to know the person. And I'm saying like I got engaged really fast, and luckily my ex-husband was amazing. I mean, he was amazing. He was a great man to me. So but we got engaged within like 3 months of meeting each other. That was
Oh,
real
Lord.
fast.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But we we were married.
Not
But
3
then
months.
some of these people, like I was actually in a relationship. I was actually in an abusive relationship. And I was totally in love. I mean, I was just like head over heels in love. And I found out within 3 years that he was an abuser. I was part of that, and it was horrible. So he was talking about marriage and everything, but it was all a show. Like he was just, it was a
Right.
show.
Right.
So you have to know somebody. So a year for me is out of the question. I have to get to know you more. Like 5 years, I'm good. Like I got to know everything.
Honey, I can't
We
do
got to
it.
live
But to each
together.
his own.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
definitely
can't
gotta
do
live
that.
Because if you're
I'm not-
married,
I'm not
you
ready
have
to
to
give
go
nobody
through a lot of
else
stuff
I'm not-
at your
I'm not
divorce.
giving nobody else another
I'm not
4 or
living-
5 years. It's been a learning experience for
I
me.
can't live
Yeah.
with
So
you.
he gonna have to come
Before
correct
marriage.
within
Yeah.
about a year. I'm
Yeah.
like these ladies now. I'm starting to the light bulb done came on. my light bulb,
I know
everything.
what
But
I
you know
want and
what?
don't
Get
want.
up
I
here,
just-
so
I
you
can't
know.
do
Like
that.
my
I don't
divorce
have
was
time.
my divorce was very quick and easy, and we were on the same page. But imagine marrying somebody like that, and you have to divorce. Like you have to show up. They want to fight with you in court. They don't want to give you this. They don't
It's
want to give you the
draining.
house.
It's so
It's
draining.
draining. That's why I'm saying, yeah, like the marriage is crazy. So you
Marriage
can have
is-
a relationship.
It's
Crazy
bliss,
by
everybody.
itself.
Don't look. Get
It
married.
is. It is.
It's
No, get
beautiful
married.
come
Get
out of
married.
marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marry the right one.
I
Yeah.
dare you.
I always
But you have to
respect
get
the
to know
marriage
them.
union,
You gotta get to know
never
them.
But
do
you
I not
really
that.
can't know anybody. I don't care if it's 5 years, 10. You still don't know them.
You meet their
You still
representative
don't know
all the
them.
time.
Not really.
Well, I mean, you get to know them more and more once you start living with them.
You
You start getting their habits. You start seeing the negatives because in the beginning everything is
It's a building
butterflies.
process.
Everything is perfect.
Everything is
But
perfect.
not
But then
everything.
once you go through, like what I went through, what you went through, you get to see those negatives, especially when you move in together. It's like, oh, Jesus, why?
But see, I'm
And
not
that's what you
moving
wanna say. You
in.
wanna say
I'm not
something else.
moving in. Like you are not about to get wifey material, okay? Because I feel like that's going to delay the process. You're not getting wifey material.
But then
No.
if you move in together and then you start seeing the negatives, it's gonna be harder for you to divorce. You know what I mean?
I just can't.
If
give
that's not
away
somebody
that.
that you want to be with, 'cause then that makes the relationship
Well,
hard.
You
It
can't have
does.
wifey
The
benefits.
point of the
and
matter
you ain't got no
is
ring on it.
2-3 years, get to learn them, get to know them, pray about it before you marry, and if it's meant to be, it's gonna be.
Amen, sister.
And
Let's
God
go.
bless, God bless
She
the
said
marriage
pray
union.
about
People have shied away from the marriage
Yeah.
thing. They're doing everything now, trying not to get married. So bring it up in your relationships. Make it a topic of the relationship in the beginning. It ain't too soon
That's
to talk
right. Oh,
about.
we got a
You
caller.
gotta call her.
Loving Hips. How can I help you?
Look at that one.
This is Eunice Dina.
Hi, Eunice. How are you?
Eunice, the family called us.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
I had to call her out.
Yes,
Eunice, I had
I'm
to call
doing
you out.
fine.
Oh, so what's your?
I'm calling in regards to your the marriage question.
Okay.
How
Yes,
long should you
ma'am.
wait for them to do a proposal?
Yeah.
I really feel you need a year or so to get to know that person.
Right.
Thank you, Eunice.
Yes.
You know,
these
I
minutes are
had
these
two marriages, and each one was after a quick dating period, and they end up being the worst disasters of my life.
Oh, wow.
So you need to really get to know a person and know that person's family.
That's right. Family.
Know the person's
Once you marry because when you marry the person, you marry the family.
That's right.
So
honey.
with that being
That's
said,
right.
though, Eunice, with that being said, so do you think, like when people that are in relationships in 3, 4, 5 years, do you think that's absolutely too long? Is there like a cutoff point? Do you think there should be?
I think that is actually it's really too long. They should know within a year or two.
Definitely.
Right.
Definitely. I agree.
That's for people that want to get married.
Thank you
yeah.
so
For the
much,
ones that
Eunice.
don't.
Thank
I
you,
agree.
Eunice, and thank you for being such a
You're welcome.
loyal
Watcher.
viewer.
Yes.
Thank you, Eunice, for calling
Well,
in.
thank you,
Tell your friends
ladies.
about us.
Y'all are doing good, and you look really good.
Thank you.
Especially my little sweet cousin.
Aww. That's why. That's her cousin. Look.
Yes.
Let's not blow her head up anymore, Eunice. Thank you so much. Our little baby here.
She's already
All
had
right.
Eunice.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Well, y'all.
Well.
That concludes
Our Love and Hips. huh?
our Love and Hips TV show.
So we are going to continue Love and Hips Cares
Yes, right.
for the month of October.
All right.
And we'll be back with you all on October the 22nd with talking about breast cancer awareness.
That's right.
Got to take care of the girls. So
Take care of girls.
Do the routine
So,
business. We'll go into that.
we're going to talk all about breast cancer
exams.
on the next segment of Love and Hips.
All right.
Stay tuned.
Until then,
Stay
keep
tuned.
loving yourself.
Love yourself.
Love and Hips.
That's right. Thank you, Tamara.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Animalistic for attraction. What else could it be? Said your vision isn't hazy. Then what do you see?